Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in. This is Love More, the podcast, and I'm your host, LaQuandra, and this is the place to love more. Today's episode is more of an origin story, my why for starting the show, before we get into the meat and potatoes of the podcast, the topics, the series, the guests, and getting into each other's business the Love More way. So, Love More the podcast is a safe space. It's a space to speak freely, a space for transparency, and Lord willing, a place for transformation where we're going to explore all things love, the good, the bad, the hows, the whys, the ups, the downs, pretty much everything. How did I get to Love More the podcast? So, back in 2020, I began my journey to becoming more in tune with my divinity and seeking a deeper, more intentional relationship with God. And in doing so, I sought out a spiritual advisor with the intent to discover my life's work and to get after it. Shout out to Camille Monk Ministries, Camille Monk of Camille Monk Ministries. Through beginning that journey, my spiritual advisor, she had me walk through my yesterday. So, me as a child, me as a teenager, young adult me, and just determine how that has translated itself into my today. Through this journey, I discovered that I'm an inside out person. And so, as an inside out person, I'm a person that I choose to let my inside show, let my heart show, so that others wouldn't focus on my outward appearance and would genuinely feel true love and compassion from another person. So, story time. When I was about 5 years old, my mom and dad, one day we were all at home, my family and I, and they wanted to have a conversation with me. And in doing so, they told my brothers to go outside and play with each other. And it was very weird to me. I'm 5. Me and my brothers were all 7 years apart. So that would make my brother in the middle 12 and my other brother 19. And so I'm like, they don't play together. That's weird. I'm 5, but I'm still kind of intuitive that way. And I'm like, well, that's weird. So after my brothers went outside, there was no like, I don't want to play with him or anything like that. After my brothers went outside, my parents sat me down at the kitchen table. And I'll never forget it. I was sitting at the table with my knees in the chair and my elbows on the table. And I don't know who asked, if it was my mom or my dad, but one of them said, do you know what it means? Do you know what it means to be adopted? And so I explained to them what it was. And then they realized that I had a good understanding of what it meant to be adopted. And that's when they told me that I was adopted. And I remember not saying a word. I didn't say anything. And I just sat there, still with my knees in the chair, my elbows on the table, but my mouth was kind of open. And then tears just started to stream down my face. And I remember not saying a word. I just got up and I went and there's this music box that I had. It was a jewelry box. And it had a little ballerina in it that played this song that I loved. And I just went and got it. And I wound up the back of the jewelry box and I opened it and I let it play my song. And that was it. That was all that I did. I didn't say anything. I just, in that moment, my heart was broken for the very first time. So having my heart broken at the age of 5 for the very first time is when I began to build my heart of compassion and my love for people. And one of the most prolific things that happened in that moment when my brothers came inside, my brother that's in the middle, I guess they had all had a family meeting and told my brothers that today was the day that they were going to tell me. My brother in the middle who, if any of you know him, he's a very like stoic person. He's not an emotional person, but he came up to me and he hugged me and he said, "You know, you're always going to be my sister, right?" And it instantly kind of made me feel a little bit better, even though that, my heart was broken. And what he did for me in that moment is something that I've always wanted to do and have always tried to do for other people that I encounter. And in my discovery with my spiritual advisor and discovering I'm an inside out person, realizing that me being having my heart broken for the first time at 5 years old, and then discovering that's what built my heart of compassion and my true just willingness and want to genuine just love people and show compassion for people. I uncovered that my emotion is my superpower. I have an extremely loving heart. I love everyone until they give me a reason not to. And even then, I love them anyway. I just love them differently or figure out a way to handle them differently. In this year, Valentine's Day of 2022, and I remember the time and everything. It was 10:59 a.m. It's really when it dawned on me that all expressions of love, they move me deeply. Most time they move me to tears. Even just the tiniest display of God's love, like his love for me, his love for others, and then just love between others. It's so moving and it's all so beautiful to me. I am a firm believer in the cliche that love conquers all. And I think that if we all just thought with love first and led with love first, like the state of the world now, it will be completely different. The world that we live in will be completely different. And love more is me doing my part and being the change that I want to see in the world and spreading as much love as possible. So today, I want to invite you all on this journey with me. If you guys have any topics that you want to discuss, any questions you want to ask, or even you want to be a guest, please email me at the place to love more, all one word, the place to love more at gmail.com. And let's change the heart posture of the world one episode at a time. So until next time, I hope you're inspired to share more, care more, be more, and to love more. Blessings and love.